Abusia mama mo bibia kwa aba na memfa mbra mega TV and platform we eso. Abusia nyame ani no kwaredi endra de esi ewo parliament the appointment committee a omo eveti yewra John Dramani Mahama ni ministers a waye den wapom nominees no. Abusia ndra na e quite rather unfortunate. Say sadie we etimi esi ye. And as for me, no, this is not the first time. In fact, a idea I say every parliament be an answer. We saw it in the 8th parliament, early beginning of the 8th parliament. Yehu se santo kwaseni because esi then ena the 9th parliament so yenyan kondru babia na sa niema ni bi ahyase a ema na homo ne so. Abusia, it is the high time I was say we have to help the nail by its head. We have to go straight to the point. We have to punch them and tell them, say, this is the high time they are fooling a lot. You can't say ubi silia, but the actions and the activities of the person describes and as a best describe the person as silly. Enti again edendra franka no dompre okukuru table no de to we so endra damages all over. And upon many information so they have been repaired. And yemisa say hifo sika ena amudi say even when it has been restored e sika ben me ne wo oni me ye tax a ye tua ye koto niema electricity ye to tax eguso ene slip no enya asem keto ni na taxes na eguso enti no se yetimi ye we na wie na ye konya kwabanani bi ye yini se ye MP even na yi kro lusu ye ni city kro lusu ye na okojina parliament na osanko sese ye niema o se ensan friend honorable any gentleman. What is silly. We will never call another a honorable member because adia oye no he is more than a silly man. Adi enti ekosa enche ye bia ena mami eye emefa Victoria emefa had castle onini nya banter ewo parliament ena okokan silly. You were moving around all over udi mirikana ko speaker ni nko kache no yentwene bra mane be pa chew barely 48 hours and do anko ahwedwuma wasia kwakodi, and you want Ghanaians to call you a honorable member, of which your actions and your activities best describes you as a silly person. Some and me so I decided not to react to it. Me try amadiachi na to bombo natum. So it is quite unfortunate. Say a DNT to about the mass uncle forward. You see, if you're a member of parliament and you did not win election and you forced yourself to come, this is what we are going to see. In the first place, Patrick Boama any a year Frakanodon did not win their elections. They lost it, but because of any sebi adwemboni show mutimo mo pesa mo de be confuse NDC abantino. They decided to come to parliament with their own greedy and selfish interest. What at all is happening in this country? Are we not serious as a nation? No 30 ministers, no more mayor Mojumana Bibim Kodenim. You are there telling Ghanaians wabre, and the cause of it was simple. After a year, sorry, yewra your friend Okudjota Blakwa, and a yewra John Mahama Bonidin, so mayor, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Over on a document or the BPM El Honomo, and after your marking any another pray. Omubufu say Charlie akwano be expose ye ya brenso anhwe ya ne atoto papa so na Ghana fo nyae e no mo se saade omunye den omonti ase e ma vetin ne nkoso enti as a honorable member and a sensible member of parliament onti bibiasia. What are you supposed to do? You have to come down and go by the standing orders of that committee. Na mumfanye edwuma. You just wake up, you just woke up from your chair and doing manya things. You see, this is a high time. You have to tell these people they are fooling a lot. This is a high time we have to look onto their faces and tell them, say, it backed by no law. It backed by no law. How can you do that? In parliament, you saw a member of parliament, and Nina Kamfuano, he is not member of parliament for Iselma Dwajin because he never won the election. Or no one kasa nipe and or the better parliament or in the year who no wonder say all misbehave because on no election one minute he came there to distract public and government business, and that ideology it won't work. That ideology is not gonna work. Young Korean Koti Elikem Kotoko. Elikem Kotoko a NDC communication member. Na ensema waka enyense nketwa. In fact, watu biama anodom pre amono who say yes ni smoothness level die. And MPP guy ba konso no so honuma. Odon so hundi oka. A whole lot of things. Yankopon shira yankon say interview no. Good morning Ghana. Metro TV so yemfa credit in Emma Metro TV mo boya sense mo yist minye bi edbeso mo Yankopon enkoso a ensha hanom your number one authentic channel Mega TV so I say with the best of news yenti nsem na emfa ebreko bebeto.
So, Honorable, you were on the floor when we had to take a short break. This is Good Morning Ghana. We're back. Joining us this morning is Amidu Chinia Isaku, the former MP for Sisala East and also former Deputy Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources. Honorable, and then also Elikem Kotoko is the Deputy National Organizer of the NDC. Honorable, you on the floor. Sorry.
So, like I said earlier, the agreement was for them to vet 3 people. But eventually, they vetted 5, and so I think the majority side they were not fair to the minority, and that resulted in the disagreement and all that. So, I mean, as a parliament, we must play according to rules that we set for ourselves. And like I also said earlier, I don't know of any precedents where 7 people have been vetted in a day because the vetting committee members need time so that they can critically scrutinize the nominees and expose them. When I say expose, it's not to let people see them, because as a nominee, when you appear before the appointments committee, they ask you varied questions, and it's for you to speak to the issues and let people be able to place a value judgment on you and your personality. That is all of it. So when you hear... on how many occasions do you have nominees being rejected by Parliament?
So we just listened to Muhammad Yarga, who is the majority leader, talk about the fact that he's going to sit with the minority leader and agree on some rules of engagement, which is perhaps the number of questions to ask and how much time allotted to a nominee, etc. You don't think it's a good idea?
The point is that there can't be any new rule of engagement. The rules of engagement from the A Parliament, I'm sure other previous Parliament appointment committees are known. The ranking member, who is the minority leader, has unlimited questions to ask. That has been the tradition.
And so shall it be.
So shall it be.
Until the standing orders of the House are changed.
I mean, that has been the tradition. Because if Haruna Idrisu had the opportunity to ask unlimited questions in the A Parliament vetting committee, why should Afenyo can be denied the opportunity to ask unlimited questions?
Speaking of which, someone has said
what is good for the good is good for the gander.
Yeah, so there's a regular view of this program. She's called Loratu. She's just sent me a message. She said, Honorable Chinia is misleading us. The only MPP minister vetted for a longer period was Ken Oforiatta. He said it's misleading. Ken was extremely sick and had returned from the States after undergoing medical procedure. Consequently, the then appointment committee agreed to schedule his vetting for 2 days, since he was unable to sit for an extended period of time. Despite this, the total number spent over the 2 days was hardly more than 3 hours.
He is rather misleading.
That was a period.
She is misleading. Ken was vetted throughout the day, and second day he continued.
No, but you also recall.
He was vetted for 2 days.
That is true, but you also recall
and
that
other ministers had longer period of being vetted by Haruna and Muta. Can't you remember?
About 4, yeah. There were instances for about 3-4 hours. But for me,
Haruna alone would take 3-4 hours.
For me, the question is whether we should continue like this.
So we can discuss that.
So
Loreto is very wrong.
That's fine.
Anyway, I have my president's right.
Anyway, so let me come.
Ken was vetted for 2 days.
When you say 2 days, you don't paint the right picture, Honorable.
Why?
Anyway.
Okay, get the number of hours he was vetted on each day.
Okay, that's fine. We can cross-check that. Elikem, what do you make of what happened in Parliament?
Yeah, thank you.
Before you continue, your very good friend, what's his name? Kobi Fiagbe.
Yes.
Of the Lens newspaper. He says I should say hello.
He's a senior. I'll call him one of my mentors.
Yes. He's watching.
Good,
he says
good morning to you, senior.
He says you're doing well.
Good morning. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. I don't know why Honorable Chinia had to spend close to 56 minutes on this matter. At a point, I felt I was non-existent in the studio.
Please push your microphone back a bit.
Yeah.
It's too close to.
Okay. Yeah. So, for the first time, I want to call out the president's appointee to the Petroleum Commission.
Right. Let me just quickly say this.
Okay.
Just a quick one.
Okay.
Sorry for the rude interruption. This is an important information. So, the Honorable Ejapa Mesa, who's a former member of Parliament for Second, he has just sent us this message. He says, my vetting as Deputy Minister in 2021 lasted almost 5 hours. That's serious. Yes, 5 hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, please go ahead.
I don't have a problem with how many hours anybody is vetted anyways. I want to say a special good morning to Madam Emeafa Hardcastle this morning. Reason being that without mincing words, she should never, under any circumstance, be called upon, be forced or compelled to apologize to anyone for calling out anybody silly. What we witnessed yesterday confirms further that we need to rethink if we should even be calling our members of parliament honorables. There's nothing honorable about what transpired yesterday. And I must say categorically and zoom in strict on honorable and not dompre. I saw this gentleman carry chairs and constantly putting them on the table. That is very silly. If there's any other word, I would prefer it is used. It is not only absurd. Look, you cannot choose to be treating these matters with velvet gloves because of the people involved. If a member of parliament thinks that he or she disagrees with a certain process, whatever, are there not laid down procedures by your standing orders by which you should go? Unless somebody is able to convince me here now that part of the standing orders tells that when you cannot have any other way, the last resort will be to cause some organized chaos. Tables were broken, microphones have been damaged, cost to the state, and these are by members of parliament who will be approving loans. I listened to Honorable Chinia say that, has there been any precedence of this and all that? Must there necessarily be precedence? Why do we think that there must always be precedence for everything? Then we will not even want to achieve higher heights because we will set goals low. And so today, I am so happy, I must say on record here, I am happy that Madam Emeafa Hardcastle referred to Anodompre as silly. Because he confirmed it by his act yesterday. And if anything, you may hold your view. When I'm done, you can. I hold a lot of...
Anodompre is not here.
Yes.
You can't insult him.
No, I am not
He's
insulting him.
No, you say he's silly.
See,
No.
you see?
Elikem,
You see?
Elikem, I beg you.
It's not here.
You see?
Let
me tell you the definition of
I beg
sin.
you. Elikem, let me please come in here.
Moro.
See, hold
Okay.
on. I beg you. This
Go
is a public broadcast.
Good.
People are watching us.
Good.
What happened in Parliament was, you can call it, it was more or less like a reflex action, right? It was in the heat of something.
Let me.
And then she made those comments. Even that, there are some persons who are not happy with those comments. But we are sitting on a public broadcaster, like a TV station. And so we have to be a bit more measured and a bit more responsible with the kinds of things we say. I mean, you could have said that, look, the words that, Ebefa used on the MP, you can say it's justifiable. Without necessarily repeating the word here on it. So I beg you.
Perfect.
You can retract it.
No, as for retract, I will not. I'm so sorry.
You use the word here.
I am really so sorry. I will not retract it.
Do you know why?
I am solely responsible for that. I'm so sorry. It is not an insult. You see, that is where many of us get it wrong. Why do you think silly is an insult? Silly means what you are doing is an absurd conduct.
I know, but you see,
an absurd conduct is silly.
Elikem.
It's descriptive.
No, I get it.
You see,
Elikem.
How will you describe a member of parliament carrying a chair and putting it on a table, damaging it in that instance, causing you and myself, the taxpayer, further harm?
Elikem, I beg you.
You see,
within a social-cultural setting, I beg you, when you use the word silly, to use the word silly,
when the minority in the A parliament,
it's not something that
to the extent even carry the speaker's chair.
So don't let it come from you on Metro TV. That's all I'm trying to say. I beg you.
See, we have gone past this.
I beg you.
Let me be frank with you.
Yes.
It is one of the things that has retarded. Find out. These are some of the things that have actually retarded our progress. When we rather want to play pawn with words and want to rather massage egos. It is why I'm asking you, what is the meaning of silly? Has anybody even found time to go out and say, okay, silly, what does it mean? It means lacking common sense. What does lacking common sense mean? Acting in ways that defies common sense. Why would do you think?
But when you repeat what MFA has said, it's as good as saying that you're also telling him that this is what you think about
I am a parent. Not even my 9-year-old or 10-year-old son would disagree with me and therefore decide to conduct himself in such a very childish manner that we saw yesterday. And you think that this is a matter we must treat with velvet gloves for broadcasters, etc., to say they want to disassociate, because this same platform and everybody watching us watched whatever transpired in Parliament yesterday, right or wrong. And when we have to speak truth to power and we want to treat it with velvet gloves, then we are nursing our wounds even for the future. Look, when I saw what happened, I asked myself, what exactly is happening? Is this Ghana's parliament? Privileges Committee was immediately asked to go and look into some matter. Will we assign the Privileges Committee a role to play in this to make sure that persons who conducted or misconducted themselves yesterday are brought to book? The videos are all out there. You don't need rocket science to transcribe or translate whatever happened there to you. We saw what Anodombre did. We saw what Jerry, the Wager MP, also did. And so you see, when they have misconducted themselves, somebody wants you to believe that per our social, not because you said it, per our social cultural training, you cannot do this. Let me give you an example. It is one of the reasons why President Akufo-Addo did a lot of damage to this country and he got away with it scot-free, because many said he's an elderly, you don't do this to an elderly, you don't do that. And he was destroying the very fibers of our country. And we looked on. It is also the reason why many believe now that we need to relook at our constitution, because so much power is given to the president, and if given the opportunity, one may abuse it like President Akufo-Addo did. We have a plethora of examples for that matter. So where from this sudden concern when I say somebody conducted himself in a silly manner? Silly is never an insult. Unless, you see,
but there's a difference between...
Let me just say this one before you come in.
Okay.
The concern is that it is English language we are speaking. Don't use your vernacular to translate English language. The English itself tells us that silly means what? Lacking or showing lack of common sense or judgment, absurdity. That is it. It cannot be any other thing to implant our socio-cultural, traditional, what have you. It is not Ghanaian language.
No, I don't have a problem.
You get my point?
Elikem, I don't have a problem if you say Anodompre's actions were silly.
So you see, you are virtually saying that instead of saying
but if you say that the man himself is silly, that's
what he did was a silly conduct.
Yes, you can describe his actions as silly.
Yes,
I don't have a problem with that.
What he did was silly. That is what I'm saying.
Yes.
He has rather come to lay credence to what transpired days before then, right or wrong. He disagreed that he was not silly. He disagreed that he was silly, He disagreed that he was silly and that his person was either indicted or assaulted, what have you. But just in 48 hours, he came back to prove himself that what he was saying was not the case. And that is why I am worried. Because, look, if you disagree with the timing, that it had taken long, etc., it's part of the standing orders, prescriptive, that you must cause chaos, you must destroy the tables.
I mean, your point is the standing orders have remedies to cure some of these mistakes.
So if you disagree with something, You must go through the right processes.
Yeah.
And for Honorable Chinia to say that, have you ever had them vet more than 3? It doesn't matter. If they can even vet 20 people in a day, if it is possible, why not? Why not? See, for instance, during the vetting of the Greater Accra Regional Minister, no question was asked her. It could probably be because they feel everybody knows her and she's of good conduct, etc. So if other people come and they will all spend maybe just 1 hour, it means they could do even 10 vettings in a day. So it doesn't matter. So is it possible to also vet many just few people in a day?
Yeah.
You and I will again agree that a lot of questions that were asked were very inconsequential, very needless, not related at all. But we had to tolerate it because Afenyo Makin had the powers to ask as many questions as he had. I saw it as an image cleansing exercise for him in this whole vetting episode, where you as a majority leader have led your team to a resounding defeat. And now you think that the vetting allows you the platform to demonstrate your singular stellarness. No, it doesn't. So they need to relook at these things.
Look, you're not done yet. Okay, please go ahead.
I think that the Privileges Committee need to look at this and properly investigate this. If not, it is some creeping danger into even our legislature. We are gradually becoming lawless at every facet of our system. Don't forget the 8th Parliament, the very beginning when the military guys stormed the chambers. And then when the other gentleman who turned himself into a goat and was chewing some
former Tema East.
So you see, that lawlessness is eating into. Because I cannot understand why a human being, for instance, would do that. If maybe you're a toddler, it could be permissible. But an adult chewing a paper, unless you're an animal. You get my point? So these are not as though I am insulting or supporting somebody insulting. It is descriptive of the conduct of somebody. And what we all saw yesterday is unacceptable.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Were we not? Yes. It's unacceptable. It is unacceptable. And we must not tolerate that.
Yeah.
Look, were we not in this country when Parliament is about going on recess, a lot of bills are being pushed to Parliament, and in a hurry or in a haste, they try to pass all of them, just in order to gloss over some of these things. So what transpired yesterday is unacceptable. It should not be allowed to be swept under the carpet, because there's a need for us to begin to cleanse our entire system. When I saw damages being done, to the extent that they had to even raise tables and break the legs of the tables, at whose cost? To you and myself sitting here. We are the taxpayers. It is on our tax that they are living. And they conduct themselves like this. And I think that the NPP should bow its head in shame. Because if you disagree, even with the fact that you must continue vetting exercise, this is not the way to go about it. Certainly this is not the way to go about it.
Okay.
Because mind you, while you were vetting over 5 hours, etc., didn't you know that you will be tired? And even if you say you are tired, then why don't you put it through the right processes? I do not even know your standing orders for the committee. They know it best. So they should be able to know what is supposed to be done, either through their ranking or through whoever. That look, everybody says we are this or that. Can we do this at a later time? Because after all, nobody says that there's no rule barring you from continuing the vetting overnight. You get my point? You can continue throughout to 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So long as the nominee will be available and you, those who want to vet him, are also available. Okay. After all, the time that Afenyo Makin spends to even vet one person, if he alone spends 3 hours, what are the others doing? They just become onlookers. You can spend that time to rest a bit if you want to. So let us not make it look as though the conduct is triggered by a certain action. Look, nothing warrants the misconduct of the NPP MPs in Parliament.
Right.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
There are already calls for some kind of contempt charges to be filed against those who participated in the chaos yesterday, and to bring them to book. Because we have to take a hard stance.
Yeah.
And take some kind of punitive measures to discourage members of the House who tend to behave like
this. Just imagine their kids at home.
Yeah,
watching them do this. There's no honor in the title being bestowed on them.
And you see, we have to be careful. And one of the reasons why I'm saying we have to be careful, because you see, the trust and confidence that Ghanaians have in our members of the legislature appears to be waning by the day. I mean, if you read the Afrobarometer survey and so on, you can tell what Ghanaians are beginning to think about our members of parliament. And so, for me, the remaining oxygen of honor, which our members of parliament have, I call them the nobles. They shouldn't allow it to just dissipate so fast. We should just rather build on it. And you see, this is coming at a time when somebody decided to make all kinds of allegations about some members of parliament. And we saw how he was treated. Even though I think that it was a bit irresponsible, because you can't just go out there and make any kind of public comments without, backing it or substantiating it. That I totally condemn that. But you see, for the ordinary Ghanaian who is there, and that's why he was right. And he says, look, when you make public comments like this, the ordinary Ghanaian who's there would form a certain mindset and a certain impression about us. And then just the day after, we've seen this, what I'll term, at the very least, a very shameful conduct. Very, very disappointing. Very reprehensible. Very disdainful. It's totally unacceptable. It's untenable.
Yeah.
We're paying you with our taxes. Look, Charlie, this... When we look at the taxes, but look at the taxes that you guys take from us. When I say guys, I mean government. Take from us when we buy a product.
Moro.
Right? We pay you with these taxes and you go and fight in parliament.
Why
are you guys treating us like that?
I have said that these degenerations are not acceptable.
Totally unacceptable.
But let's also look at the actions that lead to that. It's important. You can't say that it's not important. They are laid down rules
as to how to go about them.
They are laid down rules.
Let me give an example.
Now, if you go to conclave, yes, and you agree to vet 3 or 4 people, and you say because you are in the majority, you must forcefully vet 7 people in a day. I mean, it's not acceptable. That action should not happen in the first place.
So how come they didn't raise it, but they only raised the concern of being tied?
I'm saying that action should not happen in the first place to warrant the reaction.
It is the reason why they are lost.
And I'm also telling you that the NDC physically prevented the majority in the A Parliament from even laying papers in Parliament. Physically, yes.
Was it right?
It was not right.
Must it be continued?
It must not continue.
So why are we endorsing?
So that is why I'm saying I'm not endorsing it, but I'm saying that the majority side should not also insist on vetting 7 people. It's all right. So when you go to conclave, you agree to vet 3 or 4 people. Why do you eventually you did 5?
I'm glad for your tolerance, but you
did 5.
It is the reason why even laws.
Why should you persist?
It is the reason why even laws exist. Why do we have a constitution? Had there not been any constitution in Ghana, a leader whom many refer to as a tyrant or authoritative, like Nana Akufo-Addo, would have destroyed this country.
You can't say that. You can't say
that is what's word on the street.
You can't say
would
that.
Have destroyed this country further had it not been even the constitution, even though they have been smart ways to go around and even abuse it to some extent. That is why there are laws. That is why there are rules. It is the reason why there are standing orders. The standing orders foresaw that there could be such misunderstandings to intolerable levels. What must you do? I do not even know.
The majority must conduct themselves well.
Yes, let's assume the majority did not conduct itself well, but they did not in any way disrupt the progress or the process in any way. They only kept insisting to continue the verdict. You disagree, and your disagreement is only being displayed by causing damage to property.
Okay.
It is not acceptable and cannot be justified under any circumstance on this planet.
A regular viewer of the program, Jabaro, has just sent this message. He says, I'm really enjoying the show. We're expecting the appointments committee to ask questions about how we can safeguard the Ghanaian tech companies. Most of our IT infrastructure are managed by foreign companies, which is a serious national security concern. But using 3 hours to be asking questions about school fees and traveling expenses, it's like 5G launched but not working. Tell my friend Elikem Kotoko I'm greeting him. That's coming from
those
Jabaro.
Questions were very relevant.
And then this
they were very relevant questions.
Prince Derek J.
He ended up saying that the wife takes care of him.
Yeah,
it means a lot.
Chinia, why you have a problem with somebody's wife taking care of him?
He pays school. He was in Ghana and school in London.
Yeah, but he says his wife is industrious.
It means a lot.
He's paying his school fees.
He was schooling in London. Was in Ghana.
Why, she can't afford it?
Fly to attend classes.
Why, she can't afford it?
And look at the statements he makes about other people.
But you don't even know the business she runs. And yet you are doubting whether I'm surprised or not. Oh, Chinia, why are you doing that?
Those are relevant questions.
Okay.
They are relevant.
Okay.
And he provided relevant answers.
So Prince Derek J says hello.
The one who says he's fighting for the ordinary person stays in Ghana and attends classes in London. But you describe some people as I mean, those who don't think about the ordinary people.
So, Honorable Chinia.
All right.
Attend class in London, fly to London, attend class and come back.
The people who were fighting for you to become
and pretend that he's the one who cares about the ordinary Ghanaian.
No. So, since when did it become a yardstick that when you care about people, you must be like them?
Fly to London.
So, when the people who were campaigning for you to win an elections, were they benefiting from all the benefits you had, including, excuse me, some of the exposés by Malik Basintali on you?
That cannot be true. You see, these are...
Were they benefiting? Were they benefiting from those?
I will not accept that.
No, were they benefiting? Were they benefiting from the lands that you acquired, etc., as a member of parliament?
If I buy a land,
yes,
as a Ghanaian, is it a crime?
It's not a crime, but the ordinary person doesn't have the land.
People buy lands.
Nobody is disputing that.
People buy lands.
No, you see, my point, I'm only trying.
These are the irresponsible comments that they have to question them.
No, my only
how many appearing for the committee?
Yes.
He admitted he bought government.
My only point is that
Mutaka is sitting on government land. Rashid Bilbo is sitting on government land.
You see, my point is
go
that,
to Tamale.
Good.
Your MPs, your appointees,
bought
government lands.
My point is that, for instance,
these are the things that must be exposed.
As you and I are sitting,
you are hypocrites.
As you and I are seated here, do we have the ordinary person having the privilege of even sitting around this table? Whether you like it or not, the answer is no. That sets you even apart.
Cannot be talking that.
Are you saying that the benefits you derive?
Trying to attend class London means a lot. You are. I mean,
what exactly is your problem with some just going to London?
Pay flights, go attend class for 10 days, fly back. I mean,
what's wrong with that?
Have you made have you made private flights when you were in government?
Hold on. I want to understand Chinia. Maybe he has legitimate concerns. I need to ask, what exactly is the problem with St. George flying out of Ghana? It's all about money. But he just told you at the vetting yesterday that his wife is industrious,
and that is why the ranking member is pinning him down to establish a point.
Which point is that?
I mean,
as in how he's funding, how he funded his education.
It's important.
Yeah, but he said his wife is funded it. His wife feeds him. That's what he said. Of him. Yes.
It's interesting.
Why, you have a problem with that? Oh, Chidia. Stop this issue.
I'm surprised.
Prince Derek just says,
unless he knows something we do not know.
And this is what he says. It's the last days of every parliament. They stay throughout the night to pass bills, especially their ESB. So the argument about not vetting because it is late and is untenable, especially when they look on for Afenyo Makin to waste time on only one nominee. No, that's what he thinks. That's what he thinks.
He didn't waste time.
So he says what happened in Parliament, the disruption and the distraction was premeditated. The minority had targeted some nominees that they had problems with and let some, and let some off without few or absolute no question because they had their own words. No problem. That's what he said. And then Dennis Glan, you know him? Dennis Glan? Yeah. Let's tell Elikem I said hello.
I think he's a media guy.
Yes. I think he's a media teacher or something. Yes. Something like that. He's a very good friend of mine.
Okay.
So Osed Bonsu Rashid, he's a former assemblyman at Medina. He's also sent this message. He says, "Well, good morning. So it's as if Alex gave a hint of his disagreement with some arrangements by the clerk in his one-on-one interview with Bernard Avile. Moro, did you watch that interview raising the issue with the conduct of committee clerk when they, NPP, were in government and now that they are in opposition? We glorify a lot of ills in our politics. What happened in parliament is shameful. But let's be honest, rules are rules. In vetting, the committee should take decisions before they start the business of the day. The idea of the majority always forcing their way is sad. The minority should also be responsible. NDC Kotoko, your tone will send you back to position. Ghanaians don't learn. Moro, our two parties will never learn." Anyway, so Umar Farouk, Umar Farouk, I don't know. You've said to me that you're out of town. Anyway, I don't know whether you're back. Tell Chinia we were in the country when the president used our money to fly a private jet. What is wrong with a Ghanaian flying to London to study? We have a lot of Ghanaians traveling outside to study. How can he justify that? Malik is waiting for him. You know, Malik is a very good friend. You guys don't get it.
Malik has fought to get a job, so they should allow him to enjoy his job.
But you haven't even gone to congratulate him. I don't know why you haven't gone to congratulate him.
I'll go and him.
Okay.
I'll go and check how he's working.
You go and check on him. No, he has already said it. They said if you want to come and work at YEA and you want to focus on making money, then don't come and work with him. Why you doing that? You don't believe it. Anyway, so let's do this quickly. I'm actually torn between the constitution review matter and also a matter which, honestly, I'm very passionate about.
Okay.
And it has to do with the way we treat or some foreign companies treat our Ghanaian workers.
Oh, yeah. The two companies.
You know, unfortunately, we have just. Annie, I don't know how much time Annie will give us on this because it's 42.
I had too much time on the first one.
And we need some more time to talk about this. But, you know, during Dr. Rashid Pelpo's vetting, it was a matter that came up. And one of the things he said, which gladdens my heart, is that he says he protect Ghanaian workers from mistreatment. And the mistreatment for me is some of them are emotional, some of them are psychological, some of them are economic, very economic in nature. But there's one other information I need to add, that when we're talking about those who were vetted yesterday, we left out the Honorable Murtala Ibrahim Mohammed, Tamale Central. Yes, Tamale Central. He's going for environment, science, and technology. Yeah, we left him out. So 5 people were vetted yesterday. Yes. and 3 were not vetted, which is
all people was not listed. I think you're making the ask me a question.
Yeah. He had a fairly good ride. I mean, anyway, that's fine. But Chidi, I don't know whether you guys will be interested in this. I know Elikem would be.
Yes,
right,
yes.
He has had cause to complain about.
Yes, I have had cause.
But if we can do this briefly,
I'll do the two briefly.
In just 5 minutes.
Yes, I'll do the two briefly. Let me set time.
So this is what he said. He said we protect Ghanaian workers from mistreatment. Labour Minister designate. Raisa Sambu, Ghanaian Times, says that the Minister designate for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Dr. Abdul Rashid Hassan Pelpo, has vowed to protect Ghanaian workers from mistreatment by foreign business owners and ensure fair labor practice if approved by Parliament. He said it was unacceptable for foreigners to operate businesses in Ghana and subject citizens to inhumane treatment, right? Stressing that strict measures would be enforced to curb such abuses. Victims should not hesitate to report such companies and abusers. We will ensure corporates face the full wrath of the law. Appearing before Parliament's Appointment Committee yesterday, Dr. Pelpo underscored the need for a review and full enforcement of Labour Act 2003, Act 651, and its accompanying legal instruments. He notes that workplace reforms driven by technological advancement required adjustment to labour laws to reflect current trends. Addressing concerns about employment in the private sector, he disclosed plans to create a centralized system that publishes all available job vacancies, making it easier for job seekers to access opportunities. He emphasized that supporting the private sector to expand was key to job creation and economic growth. But, I mean, I think we're all very familiar with the kinds of treatment that are given to, our friends and family relatives who work with, or some Ghanaians who work with some of these foreign companies. And it's appalling. It's absolutely untenable. And some of them are actually earning 600 Ghana cedis a month, 700 Ghana cedis a month. And these are big companies who are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you know what? They pay folks from their own country about 10 times or 100 times what they pay the Ghanaian workers. I mean, like how? And when you speak to these young, especially when you speak to these young ladies and these guys, they tell you that they are even scared to go and report the matter to the appropriate quarters for fear of being victimized.
Moro, a quick one on this. I am very particular about this. Unfortunately, for the first time, I don't want to call out any particular foreign group or company. But I have been to a few shopping centers and other places, for instance, where you see, especially where the tellers are most often women. And women and childbirth and all the stress later in life and all of that. Where you have women standing at the till.
Let me do this quick announcement. It's extremely important. My boss, Annie, has just forwarded this information to me. Now, my understanding is the damages have been fixed a day after. So, flowing from what happened yesterday, the damages have been fixed. The vetting is to take place at the same venue, contrary to the earlier alternative space, which was the Speaker's office. That's the first one. Secondly, Honorable Matthew Poko Prempeh was flying to the United States of America anytime Parliament was on recess to study at Harvard University. That's coming from Honorable Timothy Atabuade Awonterim. He's a former MP, Bulsa North constituency. It says, in fact, Get Fund was funding him.
You see the
of course.
You see the Pandora box is being opened?
Said yes, but they said Get Fund was, but he doesn't see it. He doesn't find anything wrong with that. Yeah. So anyway, please go ahead.
So I am very glad to hear the minister designate mention that, because it's of worry and concern for some of us. It may not be your direct relation, but it may be someone who tomorrow may need assistance from you if you do not speak on these matters. And considering the fact that most or some of these foreign companies come into our country and abuse our citizens. We have a plethora of examples to give as well. You recall one gentleman who was it Mawako or so, where they put pepper in somebody's eyes and all those kind of things. A lot of these things happen. I'm sorry, but to even say, some of them even abuse our women. Yet they cannot talk because for fear of losing their job. A job that pays them 500 cedis, 600, 700, which is nothing anyways because they are lorry fares alone. And you wonder how these people are living. Look, I would further add that the minister, when confirmed, do two things. Commission a research desk that will look into all these foreign entities and investigate how much the conditions of work of the staff, especially the locals, compared to their own nationals they bring in. Some of them pay their nationals, their own nationals they bring along, 10, 15 times what they pay the young men. Meanwhile, the people at the down there are the ones doing the actual job. Aside that, there should be a desk that should be created, either at the labor front, wherever, where these people should feel at ease, even if it's an app that is they can download and install on their phones, so that they can easily report some of these concerns, either on anonymously, and only when they need to be called, then they can be reached, so that they will feel safe to do some of these things. Yes. Yes.
That's actually a good idea, a good suggestion.
It will work well, because I have been to some places, and when I see that our ladies, for instance, are at the till, the tellers, and they are standing there from morning when they come on duty till when they close, if it is 2 o'clock or if it is 4 p.m. or 6 or 9 p.m. And such a person is paid just maybe 900 cedis, then have to go home and look, they are tired, you have no life. They didn't offer to be in the military or etc. Even the military is not like that. Nobody's kept standing for that long. So we must look at that. It's very critical. Then the last one is the constitutional review.
Oh no, we can't because our time is up. So I'll get Chinia to also. I'm sure Chinia, you had. You go shopping and you interact with some of these workers and the kinds of harrowing story that they tell you about their conditions of service.
Yeah, generally
it's terrible.
I mean, foreign companies that employ our people don't treat them well, and not just the foreign companies. In fact, the whole private sector operations is not fair to their employees.
Sometimes the HRs
they treat them
do things to favor themselves.
Traditionally how we employ family labor. That is how we treat people in the private sector.
True.
It's just like in my house, I bring my nephew, my niece to come and work, and I give anything at my discretion, all that. That is how we treat people in the private sector. Not just the foreigners, but even local business people. And it is high time we look at it. And I don't have any doubt in the ability of Honorable Rashid Pelpo to navigate through and then negotiate for better conditions of service for people who work in the private sector, whether it's a foreign company or a local company. But it is also even time that as a country we begin to look at investing locally. I mean, when the economy is an import-driven economy, and we are creating so many jobs in other countries other than our country. And this is where I'll call on President Mahama and the NDC government to have a look at the one district, one factory concept. And they can, if they disagree with how it was implemented, how it was done, they can reshape it, they can reorganize it. But we need to create businesses locally so that we can enhance local production of raw materials, and the raw materials can be transformed into finished products or added value, so that we can create jobs within the country. Otherwise, we'll continue to be going around, whether NDC or MPP, it will be the same cycle of unemployment, underemployment, and poor conditions of service for the ordinary Ghanaian.
But what do you think about the suggestion he gave that perhaps we may have to get them
a desk,
give them like an opening,
kind of up,
an opening for technological opening where they can, share some of these experiences and inform the appropriate quarters like the Labor Department about what they're going through, so that the Labor Department can follow up and delve into the matter.
I think it is fair. It is fair because sometimes some of the people keep quiet or they don't talk because they are ignorant about so many things.
That's true.
But they have the opportunity to share what they go through, and people take them through what they can do to defend themselves, probably the system will improve.
Yeah.
Because in some of the instances, it's because the people themselves don't appreciate what their rights are. They are abused.
Yeah.
So if you have that kind of system where they can share their experiences, then people have the opportunity to be able to guide them and influence how they should react to certain actions where they work.
I think that generally as a country, our attitude towards supporting and protecting our labor force, it's not good enough.
The other truth also is that sometimes we overly respect the foreigner over our own nationals.
Yeah.
I have worked somewhere before, immediately after school, one multinational. And mostly what happens is that there's either some downcutting of some privileges to every staff.
Yeah.
And this is proposed by the head of HR or what have you, who is also Ghanaian, who will do all of that, but for himself, make sure that his benefits are maintained. Then it means that he's helping them cut costs. Because under normal circumstances, and some of these foreign companies also, what they do is subletting recruitments to agencies who take a chunk of the funds and already let you know that they know they have taken, for instance, let's say 5,000, but they tell you their payment is 1,000 cedis.
Yeah.
And that is the condition that you have agreed to it. Look, it's unacceptable.
They're just taking advantage of the unemployment situation to maltreat our own people. Anyway, so I want to thank you guys for.
I just want to wish one Anthony Derek Dogbeda Akbai.
Okay.
A happy birthday.
Okay.
It's his birthday today. Derek Dogbeda Akbai.
Yeah.
Oh, ayemi nwanwa. Ayemi nwanwa. Say ayemi nwanwa. Say ye taxpayers' money. Ye sika ene di tuamoka. Ye sika ene sebi. Modiji allowances. Sa kometi na motisu no nyina no. Maji sika. Maji allowances ena moti honom. Instead of you to deliver no, you are there misbehaving. These people, what at all is wrong with these people? You see, Ghana no, and no, because he feel like when you scary, he feel like what you japadi, we and yema when you sika. And you know, he don't think about the ordinary people. The ordinary Ghanaians are more suffer. And commodity no moody, the private companies cheat a lot of Ghanaians with low income salary. They cheated me and I was pissed off after SHS. Yes. Especially who are cry. That's what you said now. They will cheat you. Well, income and go for any daily. Now, sebi sika de ma bosomia. Now, he who say Adriana will be dinny a day in a crown 1 year 1 manage sebi. A rehosem no. Now a total cheat and total wickedness. What kind of I mean, just say I don't know, greedy and selfish interest is that? Again, of course, for Ghana. Tenka broni aye tu kwen kodi kurunu say ene ekwana okotriti ya. And how can we come back in few years to build and get a whole lot of properties around? Sa brofo say no moye ya enkasa ena ye tu kwen ke betimi aye japade. Ya yeti kurum ha na ye bu ye ho faso. Na ye ho ayakayaka de. And we still come and say one Ghana, one people. Tiriso. One Ghana, one people. And a boomia sano. And a ujunia ayakayaka de sano. What at all is wrong with these people? Na mo MPs yatu abayimu. Yakache me say go and perform our duties on our behalf. You are there making a whole lot of funny and jokes and useless things. You people should bow down your heads in shame. Bow down your heads in shame because you are epitome of what? Disgraced. We are very disgraced people to democracy. Donald Trump nene for mu hwe aye mu nsi wo se mo kopa bosia otwe anka mo beti mu kanka Donald Trump abaye obi nsi wo no ni deportation no ko wo ya banya sore ko wo ya Mahama sore ko na ko kan bi wo ya Kufara sore ko na ko kan bi wo ya hwan ko kan bi and can you see what will happen to you because it is the high time African leaders need to reason African leaders needs to what? Think about their people. Just selfishness, you know. Sadly, deportation all around over US and even Matisse Canada, their government is preparing to do so. The temporary what? They are about to deport them. That is information I am getting, but it is not yet confirmed. Because of African leaders, young dream, young painful dream, they don't think about their people. And into a more yes, it is almost then you would think and develop your country. Obi kɔ aburokyire kɔnya sika na ɔtotɔ nneɛma na ɔde ba na maso atena tem habɔ matena ɔmo ka ne sɛ habɔs ahodoɔ na magyegye tax. Are you not wicked? Are you not selfish? Are you not sometimes yam so ibodua mu a nsɛm bi ɛbɛka no ano ɔhyɛ. Now with all this no yɛgya wo sɛ kɔ na kɔyɛ adwuma ɔpitato munyɛ dɛn mu vɛte no na wontimi mɛyɛ adwuma because moyɛ dɛn a muntimi nka sɛ owura no mu vɛte no, and you know say owura no he has a lot of expose on the vetting committee and mo pese mo kɔ na mo bi no mo kɔ daadaa no na mo frɛfrɛ no kyale ɛdeɛ na ade ba buku no te sɛn ma ehu n'ani so wahu saa line bi no mo pese mo yɛ. They have been exposed nakedly. They have been exposed. They just want to confirm. They just want to find out the document or deba. They just want to find out document or deba. No, or my fast for beside the questions. No, I expose you no macro because the posture and the demeanor the man came and the vigor the man came with, you know. Masa, would you go and someone will be yatu or any secretary? I know don't pray any of a normal king. Etina say fear whom sad now see, hey, Kai Asami Yaba, your position and so your tuber was wende. And a mukole offer or modi sans and phone is a whom our point committee a year meet a unisono. So Musimusi and Sai, be kind of cratch them. Muntuno position, na mumfama tumbabi. Yes, Munimo. Be in a position for a decade because you are not ready to what to serve the people. You are not ready to show any sign of remorse. And can kuku mudi by now mukase biya chopa mukase biya a sign of what remorseful. But munia moye any dia mutitiwa mukan parliament in, it shows none remorse. And here na mutu onu na mwaya kesisem and mamu betiso and amodinum kuruma. You think Ghanaians are fools? Excuse my language, Ghanaians are not fools. They are not brainwashed. I'm sorry, you move in your back kind of cratch them. We are going to say the truth because the only thing that will save this country is no quarry. Young paying for the said you Jimmy Dodo. Jimmy no Dawson, it is too much. It is high time you people you must stop fooling and concentrate on the reasons why you were being pushed at that position. The entire Ghana for do go and perform that duty and stop that nonsensical activities. Moyen parliament. This is not the first and this is not the you are it. I mean, every parliament beginning piano you misbehave. What kind of what kind of garbages is that? What kind of impunity is that? What kind of impunity is that? What at all you guys want from this country? And after someone loot to my way for 8 good years, are you not fed up? Are you not fed up? We are going to say the truth. And we will say it as it is. You know, betina kuruma ya mutwa ibetwa muye ibeyi ebeka akire mu se musumanya opposition no, you will be in a position for a decade. You will be in a position for a decade because you are not ready to serve the people. You are not ready to deliver a faithful and a trustworthy service to the people. So we will never allow you to be in power and waste our resources and loot our monies and share it to the prostitutes and those who are not deserved to get it. Nyankopɔn hyira wo mepakyɛ wo wa wo hwɛ me bika bibi na yɛ ɔyɛ afa kyɛ me adwuma no mmra no no madi kan aka ebu afu paa deɛ Ghana ɛkɔ so no ɛtan ɔman a yɛtim ɛnɛ mahu dollar rate no wɔn sɛ increase ɛkɔ obi amu ana no MPP foɔ ɔmo sika no hyehyɛ ɔmo mu the oral team na me see adwuma bi wɔ hɔ no ma mo hyɛ aseɛ you people should come out first and that is the reason why Okujeto Ablakwa ɛnɛ ɔmo suro no kɔkɔɔkɔ they are afraid of Okujeto ɔmo suro akwa no papa no ɔmo suro no because the kind of secret of papa we kura no wɔn ɔde gu hɔ no man ka appointment committee and rank ɔmo nyinaa ɔmo di mirika ɛna ebedua no firi microphone n'akyi ɛno na ɔmo hu yɛ ɔmo si yabrɛ at first you knew no one him say ndra enye den ɔmo bɛ interview Okujeto so what prevents you from preparing for him what prevents you from preparing towards the what the vetting and time ni dru hɔ no mama sorry say mabre no Ghana nye sika ni di tu amoka and the sika na ndo mutu mo giye say mo di be say you people should find it back. I mean this is you can't tell us that story. I mean untimi nka we fan kire ye bro. We are building a country, we are building a nation. We will never build a political party. Samusi munsu nyansa okruma ye no mode. Samusi munsu nyansa okruma ye no mo edi okruma. Ebe mo hu se oman no enya MPP bidie, enya NDC bidie na mo eyetimamufo. Kwame Nkrumah ji eye independence na mujina bekuma na mujina nifa. Useless people na mo kura no some of you your parents and your party executives your party leadership were sabotaging Kwame Nkrumah and they are you want to take opportunity you want to take advantage of it silly people you be catch them some nyansa will tell you 100 foods you be catch them some nyansa ukruma ye no mo di ukruma 2025 na yes ye nkono ham and I am violence. But how things are getting, we have to go for boot and boot with you. You know, you be boot for boot. So Muslim musubaya, then suggest say subay. Muji esika instead of you to deliver no, na mudi din some phone our parliament. Mudi di enyambrasem our parliament. Ade na ekoso. Okay. Enti the producer amame we hinti bi to the mame fa wonsi. Yakopon shirawo. Mama chiba for ewo United States of America mama yakopon yokese mama roya bi ewo UK yakopon shira be mama roya bi TV aba ko na ko subscribe na hwe ye movies ahodo a be mama e betwa de agu ne platform no so abusia yakopon shira be bia makraw bye bye.